guys, it's Pavel and Evan, and we're here to talk hockey talks. Evan, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Pavel?
Fantastic. I'm in the city of a team that made it to the qualifying round in beautiful Vancouver. Spending some time on the holidays. I got
Go
to see
Canucks,
Marina.
go
Yeah.
Canucks, go.
What an incredible series that was.
Hey, before we get to that, we got to talk about someone who's not going. So, do you guys notice we are Oiler faithful, even though we love everything hockey, all teams? So let's just take a moment to have a moment in silence for the death of the Edmonton Oilers during the COVID Cup. Okay, let's talk about what did not work for the Oilers, just for our Oiler fans out there.
You want to take us off? What are your thoughts, Evan?
Oh man. Okay, so let me give you. I have a bit of goaltending background. There's been a lot out there. Some have said that some reporters have actually reported that the Oilers goaltenders kind of blew the series for them. I wouldn't say that they blew the series, but in the playoffs, goalies have to be better than average, and I think our goalies were average. So Smith. Again, it's the momentum when a goalie doesn't get the clutch save at the right time. So the game that the Oilers won, Koskinen, he played well. He was average, but he had clutch saves. To get one save that's clutch in a game, you have to get it when the game's on the line. And he just, those deflections, the way a goalie tracks, like look at Price, man. Deflections or not, he's stopping pucks. He is tracking. My opinion, the time off, the Oilers goalies needed to build into the season, and they just couldn't be there when their defense, which does not have a number one or two. They have a lot of 3 and 4s, and I think their depth is great, but they're not there yet. So I think the goaltending was the big difference. Second thing, secondary scoring. As much as we may have felt like superstar Leon wasn't in, what do you say when, James Neal played great? Archibald got a goal, yeah, but I still felt Archibald was kind of silent per se for what he was getting.
Kassian.
What's that, Cat?
Kassian,
Big.
non-existent.
Oh,
no
man.
big hits, no nothing.
It's disappointed. Nurse. It felt like Nurse just couldn't get it together just between, the ears for this game. He had speed. He was up there, but, not making plays. And you can't let in a goal right after you score a goal. So, but I got to tell you something. I went into the $15+ million lottery, 50-50.
Did you win?
They have not selected yet. So all those other fans out there, if you're wondering why you had 5 emails of $50 tickets for 200 tickets, it's because it was still recording and many people, there's a discrepancy. So for the benefit, the Oilers Community Foundation are working with the Alberta Gaming Commission. There might be some refunds that might not be quite 15 million. They're estimating $1 million in extra tickets were sold. So, but man, $15 million. Can you imagine what you do with this show?
Can you imagine if it kept going, if Oilers went on a deep run and how much money would be sold for that? They would be beyond wealthy in the OEG group there.
Oh, yeah. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with the investment of it to put it into charity, what they're going to do around the Alberta and Edmonton. So what's your thoughts? Give us your thoughts before we move on.
Right. So a few little things. First off, Chicago brought it. I don't want to take away from Chicago Hawk fans and everything that Kane and Taves brought, and Crawford stood on his head. Almost every game except I think game 2 and 3 where he lost. And to be honest, a couple of those shots were bad bounces on Koskinen and some on Smith. So yeah, I get that. So I don't want to put this all on goalies. What I see this as is 2 other issues: coaching and defense. And defensively, as a team, we were terrible, including our superstars. And I don't want to take away from what McDavid brought to the game. He did score a hat trick. He did put up another numbers. What was it, like 14 points in those games? But defensively, in game 2, he was -3 in the first period.
Did you say 14
can't be
points?
that.
Did you
People
say 14 points?
14.
Oh, He's like, well, he was superhuman, but not quite. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, exactly.
And so I blame this on our defensive pairing. Now, that one last goal that they scored in when it was in game 3, where it was, 3-2, and then it went off Bear's stick for that fourth goal, or 3-3.
Yeah.
And I understand it's bad luck. Things happen. But what I saw during the whole thing is that there was terrible screens. You're right that the goalies needed to puck manage a bit better and see where the puck is.
Yeah.
But we did not defend well. And
No,
as you
not at
know,
all.
Dave Tippett is a very structured, defensive coach. But I feel like we lost the system. Now, to put our top line together with the last 7 minutes left, a little bit weak. I'm not going to blame it on the format because there are other teams that were able to overcome what they did. Columbus and Toronto has been an exciting tournament, and the final game goes down today. Arizona overcame Nashville, who has incredible goaltending and defense, and Arizona found a way to score. But they played defensively for Rick Tocchet, and that is what Edmonton lacked. So I put this on our defensive capabilities and our coaching techniques. So I think the big hard look is like what it is that we need for our defensive pairings. And maybe we needed to bring up Broberg. I think Larson had a bad game. I think Klefbom didn't play his best. That's our top pairing. I think Bear and Nurse got too much responsibility. They got razzled. They didn't know how to handle everything. And you heard, in the post commentary from Nurse, they didn't bring the intensity. When your defensive man, who's one of your top D, coming out and says that says something about your team. So that's my only thing. You did not bring it.
Cassie Campbell did say she thought Bear might even be their best defenseman outside of a couple errors, though. And Bear and Caleb did well,
really well.
Russell well overworked with Larson being out after game 2 there, and really sad that Larson wasn't back in. And so one of the things I think that I noticed, and I heard Jason Gregor in an interview with Dave Tippett, he asked about that. Now, who scored the goal on game 3 winner? Brandon Saad, maybe it was. But
so anyway, it was one of their defensemen, but it deflected off of Bear stick, and I think they credited it to Jonathan Taves at the end there. He may have tipped it at the end.
Whoever it was made a comment that Edmonton is giving them room to slap in and screen the goalie and giving them lots of room at the point. Jason Gregor asked Dave Tippett, and I want to put a disclaimer. Tippett did a fabulous job during this year and one of the best coaches I think we've had here. And so in all fairness, but I felt he outcoached himself.
Yes.
He mentioned to him the moment that second goal was scored on Edmonton this last game, I looked and I just said, there you go. They were left open at the point, and every time they shoot those pucks, most of those goals came from the shots from the point that are just deflecting and moving all over. Again,
that's all it was.
But why are we not pressuring those defensemen? And when they said that not the Columbus, I'm getting mixed up my games here, but when the Chicago guy said that and Jason Gregor brought it to Tippett, Tippett said, well, he goes, it's our problem. He goes, that's what he thinks. In other words, he didn't even take it serious. And the next bloody game, the very same thing happens again, and nothing was done about it. I think he outcoached himself. I felt the 5th game, they also should have went to Smith, not because Koskinen was at fault, just like the truth is other than that first goal in the first game, it really wasn't Smith. It was just bad goals. Sometimes you need a goalie that can also move it up quicker, and they just needed something. I thought after the second goal, they should have almost looked at it. But you know what? It's golf season for us Oilers fans. So who are you cheering for from this point on now? Who's your new team?
Philadelphia Flyers, all the way. Woo! We're going to go for the East. They have just been on a wrecking ball.
Those guys are beats.
Yeah, they're going to, I don't know. I feel like they could take the cup this year. They will go to the finals. I could see them versus Colorado in the finals.
Really? Yeah. That's interesting because I was just thinking about that. We haven't talked to everyone for a few days here. And yeah, Philly to me, Philly came out of nowhere for me. I know you've been talking about them. I'm taking Colorado. They're my new team. I really liked some of their high-end offense, a couple of their back-end guys, but to me they got 4 defense and about 6 forwards, and I don't know. I hope that they can do it. So I'm going to put my hat aside, and I'm going to take on an Avalanche hat.
So take this for a second. You look at Avalanche and where they are and how good they've become. They have a young stud defenseman. They have a top line. They have a good depth. But only last year, they were a one-line team, just like Edmonton. and yet we did not utilize that line. We could have put McDavid, and that's where I think it goes back to coaching again. And I think Tippett was playing around too much with lines rather than making consistent. When I first heard that he wasn't going to keep Nuge with Draisaitl and Yamamoto, I think that ruined a bit of that chemistry. And Cassian needed to play better, but he could have played with Ennis and with McDavid, and that would have been fine. And that could have been our second line.
Yeah.
But Draisaitl gave too many giveaways. Again, a lot of these issues. So I'm excited to see what happens. Congrats to all the teams that made it to the next round, because it's going to be some exciting series. Colorado faces Arizona, which will be interesting. You know, we got a couple more games today, including one buy-in round. Now, Evan, I got to ask you a question.
Before we go there, I just have one last thing. Nuge for life, baby. No matter what line he's on, he doesn't get the credit because of Draisaitl. And whether he was on Draisaitl's line or McDavid's line, they seem to usually be the better team. And I just want to also say, Oiler fans, you have a chance for a number one overall. The rest of the hockey world will go crazy. Think about this: Lafreniere could go to the Oilers, who have had their number ones. He could, if Toronto loses today, he could go there. He could also go to Pittsburgh with Malkin and Crosby. I mean, he could be in Winnipeg with Scheifele and the works of Kyle Connor and Patrick Laine. I mean, if I'm Lafreniere, I'm pretty excited. I'm going to a team that has a contender. You know?
So I heard a little conspiracy theory that Florida was beaten out by the Islanders.
Oh,
so if Florida gets Lafreniere, which would be an interesting thing,
great.
And then and then the team got moved to Quebec City. So for all you Quebec fans, I do want to give a shout out to Montreal, because I watched that series religiously. Amazing. What a fantastic! Carey Price rocked it,
and Weber showed great leadership, man. So yeah, absolutely. I'm actually, I don't follow a lot of Montreal. Definitely these playoffs, they've had me intrigued. I am a Pens fan, so I wasn't as happy, but now I'm happy for them.
100%.
Move on. So, but
this goes to show you that teams do not tank for the number one draft pick.
Not for a
They
chance.
tried historically there, but normally players want to win.
Yeah,
and you saw that.
Okay, you were going to start your question. We're going to talk about.
It was about Lafreniere going. Where do you think Lafreniere is going?
Oh, okay. He's not going to Edmonton. I don't think he's going to Pittsburgh. And not a conspiracy. I just don't think. I actually think he goes to the Wild or the Panthers.
Oh, okay.
That's where I think he's going. Yeah. So where do you think he'll end up? This is just a guess.
Panthers is my initial. Okay. However, it's possible, depending on who wins today, with Toronto and Columbus, he'll go to one of those teams.
Toronto would love it, man. Everyone would be so mad, but they have a entry-level contract for 3 years with him. That might be what it takes to get over.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's pretty good defensively, too, so it would allow them to drop a guy down to a third line and really stack three lines. So
100%.
Okay. Well, let's talk about a couple of the playoffs that we know could be some are already matched up. So my understanding, so the number one team, Philadelphia, they won their round robin, so they're going to play Montreal. They were the worst team.
Yes.
What do you think of that playoff?
I mean, it's going to be interesting. I still think Philadelphia will win, but I mean, I can't count Montreal out because they beat Pittsburgh. And you build out some intense speed. And this is a healthy Pittsburgh roster they beat out. So it wasn't even like a defeated. So I'm going to say I still think it's going to go to maybe 4 games, but I think Montreal can push it to the edge with 1 or 2 games winning maybe.
I'm going to go for a 5-game series, believe it or not, that I think Philly will win it. But Kotkaniemi and Max Domi, now he's starting to get his legs under him. Price, I think he is in the zone. I mean, it's nice that they're going to be able to play right away. I'm just watching all their role players and their defense. Petrie's playing like an all-star. Weber's like he's got his youth back. those 4 months I think benefited them. So I actually
Yeah.
think they're going to find a way. I think Price will win one game for them. Another game, I think it'll be a team effort. I think they'll get
It's and it's a best of 7 now with these
it's
rounds.
one thing that about Philly, they are a team game, which is what
Yes.
they used to be also. Even before the Lindros days, that is. But they were always about team. And so it's good to see there's not one superstar. There's just a lot of really star players over there. Okay.
And Oscar Lindblom may play. The fella who had cancer beat it fantastically. He may come into the lineup.
What a story.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, what other matchups do we know?
We got Colorado and Arizona.
Wow.
And then we got Vegas and Chicago.
Okay, let's talk Vegas and Chicago.
So, you know that Vegas is using Robin Leonard, the goalie they traded from Chicago. It's definitely going to be an interesting take on how that goes. I'm going to say it's going to go to the final game. It's going to be game 7.
I forgot. So go back on. It's going to be a 6-game series for Montreal. I was thinking a 5-round. I don't know where
sorry, 7 game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right. I'm going to say that, I want to say Vegas, but with what Chicago played and performed, it looks like the 2010 and 2015 Vegas or Chicago. They look like they're going to take it. They can take this round.
Well, and I was going to say, I didn't think Crawford played that good, but this last game, nothing the Oilers put on him. It's like he was just coming back into his game shape again, like he was at the year end. I actually think that it's going to be another upset. Like Oiler fans, you got to know that yes, they were 12th, yes, they struggled, but momentum in the game of hockey is phenomenal. And if Chicago can get an early win, I really think a lot hinges on the first 2 games. Definitely. Either they're going to be taken out in 4 or 5 games, Chicago, or they're going to be looking at a 6-7 game minimum. And I think that they can take this. I really do. Kane and Taves and Kubelik. Oh my goodness, that rookie. Again, right?
Well, and Kirby Dach performed like insane.
That guy was such a good defensive center playing against Leon Draisaitl. He is one of the reasons Draisaitl didn't get the space. You know what it feels like? I almost feel like Kirby Dach is being molded by Jonathan Toews.
Yes.
It just, so good on Kirby. Let's give hats off to Bob Stauffer. He talked about Kirby Dach in the draft here. You know, just putting in Bob Stauffer, local color analyst for an Oilers on the Oilers channel. So, but okay. Well, what do you think about Colorado, Arizona then? Hall's got life.
Arizona.
All get excited.
Yeah.
Man, you look like a kid again.
I'm happy for Hall. This is a good thing for the Arizona organization. Everything what happened with recently in the news with the GM and everything, and so good for Arizona. Yeah. I'd like to see him make a push. I still believe Colorado has the edge, but I feel like Arizona can really push. And the one thing that Arizona lacked that they brought was goal scoring, and somehow they were able to score on UC Saros, who we picked to be one of our goalies for. Teams Finland.
Yeah, we had some. Yeah, and the interesting thing is Darcy Kemper, man. That guy played amazing in that series. I want to note locally in Alberta for Red Deer, the Red Deer Rebels with Sutter. Suter, sorry, or Sutter. I always get those 2 groups mixed up, the Suters and the Sutters, but the Sutter brothers. So Brent when I'm going to give you 3 players from their team. Now they got taken out by the Oil Kings, but the Hitmen had Ryan Nugent Hopkins, Matt Dumba, and Darcy Kemper. I was at those playoff games. All 3 of those players came from the Hitmen.
You mean the Red Deer Rebels?
Red Deer Rebels, sorry. Yes, my apology. It's the COVID clump.
Also, Dion Phaneuf came from there too.
Yeah, not at the same time though.
No.
Yeah. Oh, the other guy who came out of there that played on that same team with those 3 guys for the Red Deer Rebels was Petrovic.
Oh, okay.
From
so
Florida.
Some good, solid players. Alex Petrovic.
4 NHL players, 3 stars. I mean, that's great.
The Red Deer Rebels have some talent. They have some good pro scouting or young scouting.
Absolutely. So anyway, so what do you think of the goaltending though for Colorado for them to advance?
Honestly, I like Grubauer, but I also want to see more of Pavel Francois. Not just because we share the same name, but he's just been really good, and he played one of the games when Colorado played. So in one of the round robins. So I
That's a
think it
good
was
idea.
against
Get him in.
Dallas.
Eh?
So he got in, he got some fun stuff, and he made some good saves, and he's good. He's ready to go in case something happens to Grubauer.
Yeah. So
Colorado is set.
now it's looking like Calgary's probably going to take on Dallas.
Yes.
So tell me, Calgary series against Winnipeg. Now I understand the two players were out. Let's not even go there. We don't have enough time. We got about 4 or 5 minutes to wrap up here. So tell me, why do you think Calgary could advance more this year?
Because Dallas has not brought it in the round robin, and the team has played excellent, including Talbot, who's been starting every game, and he's been playing like the 2016-17 Talbot that we had when we went to the second round.
Yeah. I was surprised Talbot was the starter just from the exhibition. And then looking, and I'm just saying, man, he was lights out that last game. I mean, him and Crawford are the reason that they won those respective games, those last games there. And looking, I got to tell you that Calgary's guys, like or hate Kachuk. I mean, the guy stirs it up. Even if he's not getting a point, he's getting a point somewhere, with it. He just gets it going. So, but when you got and Backlund, I think that's one of the reasons Bob Backlund, Michael Backlund, Bob Backlund, by the way, was a wrestler. So, but I was going to say that one of the things that really intrigues me is how well he has elevated his game these playoffs. And and this is going to sound bad to the Hamonic family, but I think Travis not being there might be a bonus only because of his speed. Because having Rasmus Anderson in has really helped with the speed to get that puck up the ice on their defense. And Troy Brody is actually playing some good defense, especially
TJ Brody, not Troy Bauer.
See, I'm all over the map today, guys. Like I said,
fair enough.
That's what happens when your team loses. I went into mourning for about, I guess a night. And then I woke up in the morning and said, there's hockey. There's still hockey. So,
I got so upset I had to leave the city. But one player that really impressed me for Calgary is Sam Bennett. He's proving now why he was so high in the draft. And not to mention that beard, like I'm trying to grow one like him, but he rocked it. He was really physical. Calgary was physical. They drained. Now we can talk about questionable hits and penalties and stuff for every series.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just some rust, whatever it is. And, maybe there's a lot of penalties being called in a lot of games, both sides. But, guys haven't played in 4 months. Things are going to get a little bit uneasy. So it's going to get tighter. It's going to get harder to score. It's one of the reasons that I don't complain about Edmonton's scoring. We had a lot of goals in the game, and we were often scoring first. It's about defense. And Calgary came out with to prove a point, to make a mission statement, and they have a lot to prove in that group because that group, that may be their last chance as that group right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No. True.
And so on the east side, Capitals had just beaten Boston 2-1. So Boston's really struggling. So Boston's going to face Carolina. What are your thoughts on that series?
Na 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 na. Hey. Goodbye. Carolina. I think Carolina. Svechnikov is coming into his own. We talked about that the other day. I think Carolina is primed. And I think that now, yes, it's a round robin, and maybe Boston doesn't care as much. But my question is, why do you not care to have a harder team to face?
Yeah.
So I'm actually, I think that this is what people need to know. Boston not doing well in the round is no different than Pittsburgh and Edmonton in these first round of the play-ins and stuff like that. There's a lot of teams. I think this is what I realized. We don't have the same teams coming back that left.
Yes.
4 months later, there's a different team. It's a different feel. I think this is going to give us a better indicator, though, towards next season after these playoffs are over, though. I'm really interested with a flat cap. What's really going to happen? How are they going to fix things? because Boston's in trouble if they don't get out of this next round.
Yep.
Because they're Jake DeBrusk and Torrey Krug and what we've been talking about that. So I don't know. Do you think they can make it?
And the reason being is because it's the curse of being the President's Trophy winners.
Oh,
Since the last few years, anyone who's ever won the President's Trophy has not made it past a few rounds. They've never gone to the finals, so it must be a bit of a curse. They're struggling.
next show I'm gonna look that up in our show next week. I'm gonna look up the President's Trophy. I want to see for the last 25 years how many President's Trophies have actually won the Stanley Cup. Interesting enough, because you'd think that it would be like 40-50%, and I bet you we're sitting at 10%. Yeah.
And then we have New York Islanders gonna play Washington Capitals.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that series?
I'm taking the Islanders, man. I'm going to take the underdogs. Washington's not looking like themselves either. There's always Ovechkin. Let's face it. But Lou's done a great job on Long Island, and I have a little bit of a soft spot for the Islanders back to their Nassau Coliseum days and stuff. And and the fact that they lost out on their top superstar and got nothing, right, with Tavares and stuff. So I'd like to see them be able to do well. And Barzell, right? He would have been an Oiler.
Yeah.
That's a story.
So you know what? I'm gonna put this out there. Maybe in the future, for whatever reason, if McDavid ever decided to leave after his contract is up, maybe the Oilers would become a gritty, solid defensive team with no superstars that can perform and score and play. Right? I mean, it happened when John Tavares leaving, and people thought they were going to fall off a cliff, and yet here they are, back-to-back playoff years, performing well, playing well, having. They play a team model, like you say with the Flyers. They play a team game.
So you guys heard it here. Pavel said if McDavid leaves. So, is it clickbait? You betcha, baby.
Obviously. So, yeah, we want to know. What are your
right.
thoughts? Put down what you think, who's going to win, who's going to happen. Now, Evan, today, the final round-robin game or play-in game, Columbus versus Toronto. So Columbus is down.
Then with this.
Who's winning?
Okay, what's that?
Who's winning, Toronto or Columbus today? Who's moving on?
I think Toronto's going to pull this one out. I think they needed that. They've been the better team. Goalie's been hanging them in. I think Toronto's going to come out of this today. I'm hoping for you Maple Leaf fans, even though we might not have seen eye to eye between the Oilers and the Leafs. I think they're the better team. They're going to be the more exciting team in the playoffs. They're really unpredictable, the Leafs, whether they can do well or not. But I'd like to see them at least get a chance on the next round. Yep. So I do think they're the better team, and they should be coming out of this one here today.
Yeah, that's true. But they are playing towards hockey. And, again, towards hockey is grinding you down, clog up the middle.
Crazy.
So, and they will face, whoever wins, will face Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, yeah.
Tampa Bay is hungry from last year, as you all know, being. So maybe this is an excuse for Edmonton Oilers to work hard this summer so that come December when the new season starts, they're ready to go hard. They're not going to take the
Stanley Cup prediction. Who's your top two teams and who's your winner? Before we go in, we won't because we're going to already started the round of 16 by next week. So,
on Tuesday it starts. So mine is Philadelphia Flyers versus Colorado Avalanche for the Stanley Cup.
And who's the winner?
I'm torn. I think it goes to Game 7. I want to give the edge to Colorado, but I'm going to go with Flyers. Flyers on my. Yeah.
Okay, I think it's going to be Colorado versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Tampa Bay Lightning in 6 games.
Okay.
And I think the Tampa Bay will take out Toronto if they win today in 5. If not, they'll still play Columbus, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they'll take them out in 5 or 6. Tampa looks pretty good this season. So, guys, that's a wrap. We got to put this to a close for this week. And, Pavel, enjoy what time you have left out of the city. Things have calmed down.
Oh, and we didn't talk about Vancouver. Oh, the city I'm in.
Okay. You got 1 minute to get your thoughts on
Vancouver is going to play. Oh, who's the team? Not Vegas. Dallas? No. Who are they playing?
We got no computer in front of us telling us info right now. Okay, in the round robin, we got Vegas, St. Louis, St. Louis.
St. Louis. Oh yeah. Oh, that'll be a series. So good luck to Vancouver.
Yeah.
I'm going with Vancouver. I'm going
Okay.
with Vancouver.
Oh,
They have
over
huge-
St. Louis, over the Stanley Cup champions. Man, Vancouver is looking good. If you're a Canuck fan, I mean that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. So, but anyway, one thing is
That's
you're not
right.
going to get Ian Lafreniere. So all I can say as an Oiler fan, let's go Ian Lafreniere. Monday night, I got to be watching 4:00 Mountain Standard Time. The lottery draws on. We're going to see. If you're an Oiler fan, you're either going to get first place overall, 14th or 15th. That's your spots, depending.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like those.
Wins, we picked 15th. But hey, I want to just give hopes out there for you guys in Minnesota and places like that, and Florida and stuff like that. So you guys make sure you enjoy the rest of your week, and thanks for joining in today.
Stay safe, guys. Enjoy yourself. Playoff hockey is back. I want to thank the NHL for putting on such a great round, play-in round and round robin, because it looked great. 0 tests coming out as positive. We're loving it. We love hockey. It's back. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Join us. We talk to you soon.
Keep your stick on the ice. In the
Bye for
meantime,
now.
and in between time, that's it for another edition of Two Guys and Hockey Talk.